Imagine waking up in 1950, but the world you know never existed. The Allies didn't win. D-Day failed. The atomic bomb fell on London, not Hiroshima. And a black sun rises over a world ruled by the Third Reich. This is not our history, but it almost was. Today, we descend into the darkest timeline. Humanity barely escaped a world where evil won. This is not our history, but it almost was. Today, we descend into the darkest timeline. Humanity barely escaped a world where evil won. Rommel's panzer divisions waited, hidden, patient. When the first landing craft touched Omaha Beach, they were slaughtered before they could even raise their rifles. Eisenhower's gamble failed. Churchill wept in the war rooms beneath London, and Hitler smiled. But the real horror was still coming. By August 1944, the Soviets were the last hope. But without a Western front, Hitler redirected 2 million soldiers eastward. Stalin's forces, already exhausted, collapsed outside Moscow. By December, the red flag fell. The hammer and sickle were replaced by the swastika. The last superpower resistance ended with a mushroom cloud over the Kremlin in January 1945. Germany had the bomb first. Welcome to 1950. But not the 1950 of sock hops and suburban dreams. This is the year of Germania. Berlin is no longer a city. It's a monument to supremacy. The Great Holodome, so massive it could fit St. Peter's Basilica 16 times, inside dominates the skyline. 300,000 people gather beneath it every Sunday to hear the Führer's voice echo like the voice of a god. But in this god's empire, some people aren't considered human at all. In this world, the Holocaust didn't end in 1945. It perfected itself. The camps became permanent. Entire ethnicities erased not from maps, but from memory. The Reich's Ministry of Truth rewrites history books. By 1950, children in occupied France learned that Jews, Slavs and Romani were myth-cautionary tales of inferior genetics. Africa is renamed Deutschafrika, its resources stripped, its people enslaved. The Atlantic slave trade looks merciful compared to what happens here. North America, still fighting. The United States never surrendered, but it's not winning either. After Britain fell in 1946, the Atlantic became a German lake. U-boats blockade American ports. New York, Philadelphia, Boston bombed into submission by the Luftwaffe's intercontinental bombers. President Truman operates from a bunker in Colorado. Congress is dissolved. Martial law is permanent. And every night, families gather around illegal radios, hoping to hear that somewhere, someone is still fighting back. But there's something else crossing the Atlantic. Something worse than bombs. By 1950, the Reich's scientists have perfected weapons we can't imagine. Rocket-propelled nerve gas. Biological plagues designed to target specific bloodlines. And in underground labs beneath the Alps, they're building something called Die Glock. The Bell Witnesses, who survived, speak of anti-gravity, time distortion, and soldiers, who aged 50 years and 50 seconds. No one knows if it's real, but in a world like this, can you afford to doubt? If you're pure-blooded German in 1950, life is paradise. Free healthcare, guaranteed employment. Your children attend state academies, where they're trained as future soldiers and mothers of the Reich. But if you're anything else, you're cattle. Slavic laborers work 20-hour shifts, building autobahns across the Urals. They sleep in pens. They're fed sawdust bread. The weak are shot and replaced within hours. The system is efficient, terrifyingly efficient. And then there are the experiments. Dr. Joseph Mengele is no longer hiding. He's the Reich's chief medical officer. His research facilities span from Warsaw to Kiev. Twins, dwarfs, anyone different. They're not patients, they're specimens. By 1950, he's mapped the human genome not for healing, but for purification. And the world watches, because the world has no choice.
But even in the darkest night, Sparks still flicker. In the sewers beneath Paris, a printing press runs every midnight. It prints one word, Libet, 20 copies, hidden in loaves of bread, distributed to those who still remember. In the forests of Poland, Jewish partisans, survivors of the unsurvivable, strike supply convoys and disappear like ghosts. The Reich calls them terrorists. History would call them heroes. In London, now called Neu-Hamburg, an old man broadcasts every week on a hidden transmitter. He reads banned books, Shakespeare, Churchill's speeches, the Bible. He's been caught 12 times. He always escapes. No one knows his name. They call him the Voice. And in the shadows, a conspiracy is forming. One that could change everything. Even within the Reich, some officers grow uneasy. They see the endless war, the endless purges, the ideology devouring itself. Whispers circulate of a coup, of generals who remember when Germany fought for honor, not horror. But whispers are dangerous. And in 1950, walls have ears. This world, this nightmare, was closer than you think. The real D-Day succeeded by a margin so thin it defies probability. Bad weather grounded Luftwaffe reinforcements. Rommel was visiting his wife for her birthday. Hitler was asleep and his staff refused to wake him. Seconds. Minutes. Pure chance. The atomic bomb was a race. Germany had heavy water. They had the scientists. They were 18 months away. If not for saboteurs in Norway, for brave souls we'll never know, they would have reached it first. Every moment of freedom we enjoy was purchased with sacrifices we can barely comprehend. Soldiers who charged machine gun nests. Spies who swallowed cyanide. Children who hid in attics and prayed for liberation that almost never came. So why does this matter now? Because the forces that nearly destroyed our world didn't disappear. Hatred, division, the belief that some lives matter less than others. These aren't relics of the past. They're choices, made every day, by people who forgot what happens when we stop choosing differently. We live in the world that could have been erased. Every morning you wake up free is a defiance of the timeline we explored today. Remember the names we know: Eisenhower, Churchill, the soldiers on those beaches. But remember too the names we'll never know: the partisans, the resistors, the ones who said no when the world was screaming yes. In 1950, in that other world, there is only darkness. But in our 1950, a young girl named Ruby Bridges walked into a desegregated school. Rosa Parks was raising a son. A dreamer named Martin Luther King Jr. was studying theology. Because the right side won. Barely. Miraculously. Never forget how close we came to losing everything. And never stop fighting to keep it. This documentary was a thought experiment. A warning. A reminder. The world of 1950 we showed you never happened. But it could have. And timelines like it still could, if we are not vigilant. If this made you think, share it. If it made you uncomfortable, good. That means you're still awake. Thank you for watching. Remember history. Question the present. Protect the future.